Investors, moving here at Macro Markets, 25th April 2025. So today's topic is Trump chicken out, trending on the Chinese social media. So recently, Trump has softened his tone regarding the trade war, saying that we are going to be nicer to China, and the tariff will be lowered, definitely not higher than 145%, yada yada yada. So because of that, market has started to have a widespread optimism, and also not just that. Right after that, there was a U.S. Treasury Secretary also coming out saying that the trade war isn't going to be sustainable as well. And at the same time, right, a few other good news is that actually I more or less anticipate this. Elon Musk is leaving Doge, even though he kind of says so about 1 month ago, but they didn't really reportedly confirm anything. And just that about 2 to 3 weeks ago, Elon Musk was publicly arguing with Peter Navarro. Like, very likelihood is the guy right behind Trump who keep on telling him about all these tariff nonsense. And yeah, so he has been like openly arguing with him. And because tariff will definitely affect Tesla the most, because they have a lot of moving parts, a lot of supply chain issue as well. And right now, even more and more mega donors, right, billionaire donors are actually saying that the tariff isn't going to is going to hurt US as a brand. And if the brand tarnish, then it's harder for people to want to invest in US, whether it's the bonds, the dollars, the stocks as well. So so if you are able to get to this newsletter, you can just go through these links as well if you want. So thereafter, right, after a particular day, right now, even for the pre-market as of Friday morning, Singapore time, I'm still able to see like a pretty good green over here as well. So where are we now? Where are we going next? So here are some of my anticipation, right? There's likelihood, okay, this is Nasdaq futures, and if there's ever one more momentum going out, we will break out of the downtrend line, and then we'll probably go back down, test the previous low, and go back to test the 200 days moving average again. Or maybe we will just fade off over here and then continue to test the previous low. And this is what I hope, because you can get double bottom, get some get the stocks at cheap, and then carry on. Or if not, the worst case scenario, market continue to go downwards because Trump turned crazy. And I'll show you some hypotheses later, which is not impossible as well. Over here, but something that is good, right? Positively, optimistically, there is a bullish divergence over here. So so we are really getting more and more traction as well. In terms of the sentimental technical analysis, my next target is actually about 30. So right now we are still under this downtrend channel. So probably after we hit above 30, that's when things will turn. But for the time being, I anticipate that it won't really go out immediately in one direction. It would likely test the bottom. It would likely test the previous low again, probably around 14 to 17, and then we have a inverse head and shoulder, and we carry on upwards. So here are some of my predictions, right? Bull case, which I don't think so. He continued to soften his tone and the market continued to recover. I don't think this will happen because right now market isn't going to listen to him talk anymore. They want real result, real deals. So like he's a rubbish administrator, one of the Lutnick or something. This bold guy saying that these are 90 deals in 90 days. But even until right now, I don't think there is any deal. So if that's the case, then if he is unable to bring out more promise and more deals on the table, then no business are able to plan for their supply chain, for their future development, whether it's hiring, firing, or whatever. They can't do anything. So with that, right, then all these business owners and even the citizens, they are going to just press him on that. And even the Costco and also Walmart, they are running out of stocks because the supply chain is disrupted. Next, right, would be the kangaroo case, which I think might be more probable among these three, that he will continue to flip his script. And then, of course, it comes in probably 2 to 3 forms. The first form is impeachment, which is not impossible also, because he has a lot of lawsuits going on right now with the administration, illegally deporting a lot of innocent people without due process and all. And then next, right, for whatever reason, let's say if he wants to get out with wanting to save, like wanting to stay alive by getting out, he can just say something like health issue. And I think this is possible also. I think this is just for fun, for my own speculation, for our own entertainment, right? Back then, because I just have this sensing that he might want to run a third term. And lo and behold, right, 1 week later, he did say that. So I just want to play around with this, whether or not is my hypothesis true or not, based on the way I see the future. And let's say if you want to save face for himself, he want to ensure that he still have a backdoor, the B alternative path for him to go, then he will likely say this. But let's say if he wants to go all out and flip the script again, this is not impossible also. But more importantly, this is not fear mongering, but just to ensure that all of us, we just see this as part of the possibility and just don't get caught at a sudden shock. Okay, so in the worst case scenario, he might actually take down US and also the world with him. And this is not impossible because, right, pride and ego is his weakness. He don't say sorry, and then he just continue with the things that he wanted to do. At the same time, right, it is not just about what he say, but what he do. Like, he has already demonstrated that he will do whatever it takes, right, to, even if it means to sacrifice many, even if it means to sacrifice his biggest donor, which is Elon Musk and Tesla. I think this is also possible. And more logically, you have to think of it in this way. in terms of mortality rise, I think he's like 79 years old, right? So there's not much runway for him to have. And not that I'm cursing him to death. I'm sure quite a lot of people are cursing him, probably me too. But yeah, logically, if you look at mortality wise, he don't have a lot of runway to go. So there is like a person who is starting to lose, right, is the scariest. So but to some extent, I mean, once again, this is not fear mongering, and to some extent, and to some cautious optimism, right, he seems to be defending the S&P 500 5,000 points, the SPX 5,000 points, or SPY $500. So he seems to be defending that, because when it plunged through about 480, he started to say that all of you guys are panicking, so weak, and then now it's a great time to buy, and then push the market up. And then eventually, when the market started to come back down again to about, I think, 510, then he started to tone down again, and then the Treasury Secretary started to say things that, oh, it's not sustainable, yada yada. So I suspect that underneath, right, they are trying to protect that. Maybe because if they were to have a further plunging down, then the dollar and the bonds may get into very deep trouble. So to end off Trump's saga, right, I just don't believe anything that he say. The easiest way to predict someone, right, is just simply reminding ourselves one quote: how we do anything is how we do everything. And once again, he has already demonstrated what he has done. So he has 79 years of habitually doing these things. So I don't think he can change overnight. And also because of that, right, he reportedly saying that he has brought in 7 trillion of investment to the US. I don't think so. And Dodge has found millions and millions of fraud, waste, and abuse. I don't think so as well. I don't want to keep this report too long, so here's my action plan for the time being. I recently was feeling a little bit fearful and impatient, and I did some stupid move, and right now I was thinking I should have done that later. But then regardless of what, I've rebalanced myself, and in the worst case scenario, I'll slowly roll up my kangaroo cover call from 13 to 14 to 15, and then in worst case scenario, I'll roll them to leaps, lock in about 30% in profits over the next 1 to 1.5 year, and then redeploy the remaining 32K of cash that I can have. If not, right, lastly, one last good news is that right now we have a breath trust, which is that many industries and sectors are getting profit signals. So with these, right, market would slowly getting more and more traction with that.